Hey everybody, it's Friday morning, it's drizzling outside, I've got my cardigan on and I'm drinking a nice hot cup of tea, and I thought I would just share a resource that has just come across my desk with you. It's a book, it's called Structured Word Inquiry, an implementation guide for teachers, and it's by Jennifer A. Constantine and Kara B. Lee. And I was really intrigued by this book because I think that morphology instruction is a really good way to learn to spell in English if you are struggling to learn to spell in English. And if you're not struggling, I think it really opens up the language, and there's a lot of vocabulary instruction and deep connections there. And if you're a learner if English is your second language, then I think that being able to see some of the connections that we make in our language helps grow your vocabulary, and potentially if you have a second language that is like a Romance language or has some similarities to English, you'll be able to make some connections there. So I think there's so much richness in morphology instruction, but one of the challenges of morphology instruction is the kind of how to do it, because it's such a huge thing. A lot of it's very much inquiry-led, and we kind of get to this funny place where we want to teach in this direct, systematic, and in explicit way, and it's kind of an inquiry-led thing. How do we put that together? How do we structure it in a way that kids can be successful? There's different opinions on how you do it, and it can be a large chunk of knowledge to take on. It's difficult to kind of dip your toe in it and be successful. So when I saw this book and it said an implementation guide for teachers, I was like, I need to have that book. So here's a book review. And what I really like about this book is for a start, it's short. It has a short introduction. I tried to do this on my web camera, and it was even harder to do it than holding it up. So it starts out by kind of explaining the idea behind morphology and what has been known as structured word inquiry, which is this style of teaching morphology instruction. It's been championed by Dr. Pete Bowers, and he has these 4 questions for understanding a spelling. So they kind of go through and kind of give you the basics, and that doesn't take too long. That takes 7 pages. So there we go, only 7 pages of reading. And then from there on, it's lesson plans. And it starts out by introducing a class that's never done this type of instruction before to some very basic elements, and it just builds on it. So you could literally start at the beginning of this book and just build through. And by the time you're done, and actually this book doesn't go all the way through to the last page. Let me see if I can find the end. By the time you're done, you've really set the stage for kids to do much more independent inquiry projects on word forms and breaking things down. So it's sort of a great way to get kids started in a classroom on morphology. And then the back end of the book is all printable resources. So these are called matrices, and you use these in structured word inquiry. So they're there to print. This is the suffixing rules for knowing whether you're gonna, this one's the single silent E one, right? So when you're adding a suffix, are you changing the Y to the I or dropping? There's some more matrices. There's some other stuff in here too. Just print out stuff that you can use to put on the wall and help make things simple for kids. So what age would I suggest this book's for? I'd say probably somewhere between grade 3, maybe late grade 2, grade 3, grade 4. You could do this in grade 5 or 6 too. So we're kind of like, once they've started, they've kind of got their reading, and we're building on the fluency and really focusing on the spelling and the other, what's the word I'm looking for? Other elements of reading and spelling. This would be a good book. What do I think? Do I like it? Yeah, I do. I really like how it's taking something that can be a little disconcerting and turning it into simple bite-sized chunks. So if you're interested in teaching morphology, I think this is a good resource. I don't remember what it cost me, but I'll look it up and I'll put it in the comment underneath.